What's going on? ClipK74 back with another video, and oh boy, this is going to be a really fun one. So after the Clippers took a loss against the Chicago Bulls, it was pretty understandable. It was the Bulls, one of the best teams in the East or the NBA in general. We were tired and all stuff, but now we play San Antonio. So Terrence Mann was out, Winslow's out. So now we get to see talent from all over the sides. Paul George had an amazing night. Reggie Jackson, he was clutch. Luke Kennard was solid. He was actually proving me wrong as well too. He was a sniper. But and then we're gonna go with Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe, like look, you just keep it up. Just keep up the consistency and be the Phoenix Suns Eric Bledsoe you was. Cause Bledsoe, the last 3-4 games, he looked like the Phoenix Suns version of Eric Bledsoe. So if he keeps that up, maybe the Pat Bev trade may have been worth it. But you know, I'm not gonna vouch Bledsoe too hard again, cause I need to see Bledsoe to keep doing it in a consistent basis. But oh boy, the most exciting part is my man Brandon Boston Jr. He is balling out. First, I'm gonna try to shout out as many people as I can that can rate about Brandon Boston. Shout out Madara. Shout out Sablo02, I believe. Shout out GP. Shout out Cortez TTD. Shout out to everybody else that also showed love to Brandon Boston. But I cannot remember all the names in the comment section. So shout out to all y'all. And this boy is special. He literally has everything in his bag. Like I believe, like in a video or two ago, I or my past videos, I said the best shot creator, not named Kawhi and Paul George, is Brandon Boston. And look and so far, looks like it's correct because I don't see any other Clippers player that has a shot creation level up to Brandon Boston because he's literally doing everything. He was literally shooting he shot a beautiful three. He was getting inside, having some good layups. I believe he had some nice mid ranges, and he did amazing. Like I don't know what else to sum it up because like again, it's been long overdue that Ty Lue needs to play Brandon Boston because like look, this is just a perfect example on how good what the Clippers could have benefited had Tyronn Lue played Brandon Boston Jr. and at that is shot creation and that is scoring, and you lose nothing on defense. Like I didn't really see Brandon Boston being so noticeably bad on defense. He was playing solid defense, and he was being a bucket. He was pretty much being a bucket, and that is just nothing but helpful for the Clippers. And my man is 19 years old, so that's even the better part. So pretty much, like what I want to point out is like one of my main ideals about on how to build dynasty is one thing that I would be staunchly against is trading young talent to get a so-called third star. Cause look, I just made a view just straight up dedicated to it, and look, it shows. Like let's just say if the Clippers fall in the trap into trading a Ben Simmons or Damian Lillard or anybody who is available, Karl-Anthony Towns, they're gonna ask for Brandon Boston and a lot of other really important pieces that would definitely be helpful for the Clippers. So you trade Brandon Boston to that team. Let's just say, who did Clippers fan want? So let's just say realistically, they trade Brandon Boston to the 76ers and we get Ben Simmons, sure, our chances of winning the title increases, obviously, duh. We win our cool 1, 2, 3 rings, whatever. But then after that, once Kawhi and PG gets old, what happens? You're pretty much going to be a pretty ass team. Maybe Ben Simmons will be. We don't even know how Ben Simmons is going to be. Or, let's just say, for example, or we do Damian Lillard. Of course, would I want Dame on the Clippers? Sure, why not? But it's not going to happen. You're going to literally have to trade everybody, not named Kawhi Paul George. Or, heck, you might even have to trade Paul George. But let's just say, for the sake of it, you trade Brandon Boston, right, to get Damian Lillard. Next thing you know, Brandon Boston all of a sudden becomes a Rookie of the Year candidate. Because you know what Brandon Boston did tonight? He was beyond amazing. And then, sure, we get Damian Lillard. We're going to have 2, 3 easy rings. Bam, you get your rings. And then they all get old. And what happens? The Clippers become a pretty, you never know. You don't know what's going to happen. As opposed to if you keep the youth, you develop him, you play him, you're going to, not only they can contribute, like, okay, here's the thing. There's always these people who says, oh, stop being too emotionally attached. Oh, we need to so-called win now. Like, those are the most annoying terms that I would see for like casual fans or short-minded fans or old heads in general. So, but the thing is, Brandon Boston and the youth we have can help us win now either way. Like, of course, not as effective as, their star, but they're going to help a lot. Like, play Brandon Boston like 20, 30 minutes. Ooh, I don't see, us losing many games because we're definitely going to gain shot creation. And the way how Brandon Boston plays, it's kind of like a smaller Kevin Durant, like, or a Brandon Ingram type. But at the end of the day, though, Brandon Boston is going to be Brandon Boston. He's a different breed. His ball handling is pretty good. His scoring ability is pretty good. Like, I think Brandon Boston is going to be the future face of the Clippers franchise. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. So back what I said about, keeping the youth. So pretty much, again, one thing I would get criticized for is, I'm too high on the youth. Like, I love the youth too much. But, I mean, not many, but, there's always be one of them. But so the thing is, if you keep the youth, you develop the youth, the Clippers, we're gonna like we're gonna still, win championships right now. And then once Kawhi and Paul George gets old, Brandon Boston is gonna could just easily fill Kawhi Leonard's and Paul George's shoes, as well as J Scrub too. But I'm gonna talk about J Scrub later. But I'm just stick with Brandon Boston right now because y'all saw what Brandon Boston can do. He can do everything. Like I said, like I'm getting repetitive at this point, but I'm just stating like the consequences if you trade a guy like Brandon Boston. It's not worth it at all. Like, because again, Brandon Boston is an instant contributor, and he has superstar upside. Like I said, trade him to any other team, they're gonna give him a huge chunks of minutes, and I can 111% guarantee every single one of y'all that he's gonna be an immediate Rookie of the Year candidate. Cause, like, look, Tyronn Lue has not been, playing Boston in the past, and that needs a cut, like, stop, because like I said, I don't think I need to say anything more. Because again, but just to sum up everything, if you keep the youth, if you keep young talent, you're gonna be a dynasty like the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, the Chicago Bulls, the Detroit Pistons, and all the other teams. And if the Clippers somehow if the Clippers go short-minded mode, trade young talent to get a third star, you're just gonna hit a plateau. You stop climbing the mountains. You just settled. You just like, oh yeah, this is enough. Okay, and then bam, you missed out on the grand prize. So one thing that 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 I would like y'all to know about me is I think long term. I think of the big picture, and keeping the youth is better for the long term and the immediate impact. As poses if you just go all in, just trade for that one superstar. You're just thinking of that little. You're just micromanaging. That will backfire horribly. Because one example is when we traded for Paul George, when we traded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George. I mean, that was defendable, but as y'all know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a monster. But Paul George is a monster in his own way, so it worked out that way. But but, but again, but if the Clippers, I mean, it would have been great if we could have kept Shai, because now, like, we traded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? Now, ever since we did that, the biggest problem with the Clippers is we needed a point guard. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have been the perfect point guard. But again, if what I had done to Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George trade again, unfortunately, literally, I had to say yes because now Paul George is going off. But I would have done everything in my power to not trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because that day, I'm not gonna lie, I was stoked that we got Kawhi, but then when I saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade for Paul, I was like, man, this is gonna sting. But whatever. But now, because now I'm pretty handy, happy, dandy. But now I'm gonna still reflect on one of the biggest Achilles heels of the Clippers right now, and it's pretty much Tyronn Lue's rotation again. Like, look, who played? Who else played? Who's the young player that played other than Brandon Boston Jr.? It was not my boy Jay Scrubb. It was Amir Coffey. Bruh, I mean, no hate to Amir Coffey. He actually did pretty good tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not like star good, but he he didn't he didn't mess the team up. But he didn't really do anything special either. Like, I mean, I barely see him really do anything. He just made a shot, just get 2 free throws. Like, that's it. This is a guy that Tyronn Lue is choosing to play over Jay Scrubb. That, in my opinion, that definitely needs to stop, and that's beyond unacceptable because we all know how good Jay Scrubb is. That man scored. That man just played 9 minutes, scored 9 points. So yeah, I don't know what the heck is good with Ty Lue because like Amir Coffey, I'm not gonna lie, I had to give props to him because I don't know how the heck did he make a coach literally play him over another another young youth that has superstar upsides as opposed to Amir Coffey. He has good role players upside. Like, I don't get it. I just straight up do not get any of it because I know for a fact had Jay Scrubb swapped with Amir Coffey minutes, I know for a fact I could guarantee that Jay Scrubb would at least score more than Amir Coffey for sure, and he would have definitely had double digits for sure. Because come on now, Jay Scrubb literally was just like I actually managed to watch one of the Agua Caliente games, I believe, and Jay Scrubb was still being Jay Scrubb. He was making tough shots. Because listen, let's do a brief Jay Scrubb and Amir Coffey comparison. So let's start with shooting. Who is better in shooting? Jay Scrubb. Who is better in scoring? Jay Scrubb. He's Jay Scrubb. We all know he's a bucket. Who plays better on defense? Jay Scrubb. Honestly, Jay Scrubb. Maybe last year it was Amir Coffey, but Amir Coffey kind of regressed on defense. Who has better athleticism? Jay Scrubb. Who has um, who's more physically like stronger. Uh, that could probably, honestly, low key, like, okay, I'll try not to say J Scrub again, but that's just the truth. Like, yes, I really like J Scrub, but I'm gonna just tell what it is. I mean, if Amir Coffee was going off, I wouldn't mind. I would not mind Ty Lue playing Amir Coffee, but right now, J Scrub has to be playing over Amir Coffee. He has to get the damn minutes. Okay, so back to the comparison. Who is better at, you know, controlling the turnovers? I'll give this one to Amir Coffee. Like, but again, still, there's no excuse for Tyronn Lue to play Amir Coffee over Jay Scrub because their passing abilities are pretty similar. Because yes, Jay Scrub may turn the ball over a little bit too much, but Jay Scrub's shown flashes that he could be a decent passer. But again, he's not a point guard, so so again, so what's the biggest deal of him being a really good passer? Because his job is to be a 3 and D player. But the luxury of Jay Scrub is he's a bucket. Amir Coffee, know it in heck, he's a bucket. So that's just my major criticism of Tyronn Lue's rotation. Because look, again, Amir Coffee compared to Jay Scrub, he was pretty mid. Like, Scrub is just on the new level. Like, okay, alright. I think I might just have to wrap it up for this video because I'm running out of things what I could possibly say. I think I basically covered everything. So just let me know, like, just let me know what you think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, or dislike if you disagree. And this should probably wrap it up. And as everybody knows, go Clippers.